So let's get that recording started. And I'm stopping the music so that my recording doesn't get rejected on YouTube, right? But welcome, everyone. I am Letitia M. I'm super excited to be with you guys. I'll let you see me for a little bit. Hey. Are you guys excited for this today? Absolutely. I know I am. And I just can't wait to get started with you. I see we have a good number in here. So we're going to get started on time. As people jump in, remember to just put the team that you're on in the chat. I will be shouting you out. So love it. I see some Team Eclipse from Joanne in Texas. Oh boy. Woo. Came a long way to come here, huh? So I think we're going to go ahead and get started with Vax Vacations. So if you want to follow along with me, if you're on your computer, feel free to go to Vax. I have multiple screens, so it always works for me. I'm like surrounded by screens. But if you don't, then this will be recorded and you can go back and kind of follow along as well, right? Awesome. So let's see here. So you know already if you need to do groups, you can do groups right here at the top of Vax Vacations. When you come in, your dashboard should look similar to mine, right? And so whether you're going to do it with Apple or one of the other vendors, usually I just go ahead at the bottom if I know that my client is going to do multiple destinations. So let's see what the information you're going to need for multiple destinations. You want to know how many rooms they're going to need, how many adults and children, and you want to know the dates or at least the number of nights they plan on spending at each destination. They kind of make it a little bit easy for you, like, hey, well, they need some rental cars while they're there. If they don't, just uncheck it. And it turns out if they do, you can add it later. You can even look at some of the, if they know a brand name they want to look at, and when they plan on returning, right? Let's go to Europe today. I hear you. All right. So we're going to say we're going to take 2 adults. Easiest thing to do. We're going to say they're departing from Houston, Texas. And they want to leave on, let's push this out a little bit. Might give us a couple more extra dates and places. So let's start on September 3rd. And they're going to go to, you want to go to Paris or just Europe, period? Let's see what came up when I started to do that. Yeah, I think I have to look at something in Europe. So I'm going to say, London. Here we go. And you can do 3 nights. Let's say they got a little money. They're going to do 5. And from London, let's take them to Paris. And they're going to do 3 nights. And let's be bold. Let's add an additional. They want to see the world, right? All right. So what's our 3rd destination? Anybody in the chat? 3rd destination? I got my first 2 from the chat. And we got Rome. And they're going to do 3 nights. All right. I'm going to take that car off. And then they're going to be returning on the 15th. It defaulted because I selected the number of nights, right? So from here, we're going to search it out. And it's going to think about all of its life decisions. And usually at this point, I like to play music, right? And think about my life decisions. There we go. Finally, right? All right. So it's telling me that this total trip is going to be $7,646 before I make any adjustments. So usually if that customer has told me specifics on times that they want to leave or flights that they want to use, that's when I'm going to kind of come in here and play around with this area. If not, I'm always going to select the first one, and then that customer and I will have a conversation about it. You can see that it's a next day arrival. So you want to let that customer know going and coming back, they're either going to lose or we're going to have to add a day. Think about that, right? Because if that customer wanted to travel and be in those countries, be in that area for a certain amount of time, then you want to let that person know, hey, because this is an overnight flight, you might want to think about leaving the night before. Even if it's, when you get off work, just leave on the second instead of the third. But if they're okay with losing that time, then you're okay. And it's also now going to go from our second destination. Price still hasn't changed if we select the same first one. And this is going to be from 6 a.m. to 8:40, going to Switzerland. And then from Switzerland, that's how it's going to get us over to France. They do have a long layover here. So talk to them about maybe doing an excursion outside of this plan. Since they have 9 hours, maybe they can do something in Switzerland, right? Nice little hop stop. Maybe go see a museum, take a small tour. And now we have our second to last leg, right? So this is from France to Austria, sorry. And then going over to Italy. Again, they have that long layover on that day. So they might want to think about doing something. This is how you can kind of boost up what you're making as well. Don't let that person just sit in the airport. Some people might be comfortable with that. They might be afraid they might miss something. But if you can find something for them to do to kind of cut it back, maybe 2-3 hours, they can leave their luggage. They can always check their luggage early or leave it in the locker. So then select. All right, so now we have our last one, and our last one is going home. So they're going to be going from Italy to New York. It's only a 4-hour layover. I would not mess with that, right? I would not. Yeah, I know you're going to New York, but honey, that might be another trip for you. New York airport is very busy and you may need those 3 hours just to get to your gate. So let's kind of not mess with that time. Little tips for you guys to make some extra money. So now all of our flights are now prepared for this trip. And so they've already pre-selected some hotels for us. So if you want to take a look at the hotels, because maybe you want to change one out, we can take a look at it by clicking on the link for the hotel. And we'll be able to get some information about this destination itself. So in this destination, we can see the hotel details, any amenities that might be available for it. You can see the different room types. Maybe they want to upgrade or downgrade a room. Is this automatically going to select maybe their most popular or their current one that they have a lot available for? I know with a lot of international travel, sometimes the rooms are a little bit smaller. So that's something that you want to think about. And then if you want to even clip some of these photos to send to your client so that they can see it, I love clipping photos for them so that they can get that experience. Some people don't like to show the name of the hotel that they're staying at. So what you can do is you can always copy the name of the hotel, Google it, and see what your rates are compared to what they're charging. And if you're giving them some, incredible pricing, then you definitely want to send them the name of it so that if they decide to Google it, they can see it. Now let's look at the one that's going to France. They have more city views because they have short balconies. And you can look again at the amenities that they have. Other room types, dining options. They do have some on-site dining. So that's really great for that customer. They know that they can always do something in their hotel. Now, let's say you decide, I kind of don't like the one in France. Can we look at something else? So click on the hotels. and it will take you back to where the selections are for the hotels themselves. So it automatically opened up the one for France, but you can just as easily do it for London, and you can also do it for Rome. So if you decided you wanted to change it out, you can see that it's going to change the price point by selecting a different hotel. But if they're like, you know what, I heard about this hotel, a friend of mine stayed there, I know it's going to be more expensive, but they really had a good time at this other hotel. So you can kind of take a look at it, make sure it stays within your customer's parameters, things that they might be interested in. Maybe there was a specific room. And the good thing about this one, if it's traveling for two, a couple, you know they're going to get that king size room. It has a garden view. They have Wi-Fi, blah, blah, blah. And so there's, but if you want to make sure they get something else, like I guess for this trip, breakfast was not included. So for an extra $276 a night, you know that you can make sure that they get their breakfast included with that. And then they have some rooms that's not available. So, and that's if you want to change it. So if you don't want to change it, or if they're fine with the destination hotel that was selected, then you don't have to make any changes. But if they do specifically want something like this one is a little bit lower, right? Nope, this is higher, $128 higher on their package. And it even tells you how much higher it's going to be right above it. So it kind of makes it easier if you know that it's going to push them well over their budget or stay within it. This is $6,000 more to stay at the Hyatt. I mean, some people got that in their pocket. You can't judge. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and just select a different one just so you can kind of see how that rolls out. Now, once I have this itinerary built with my flights, my destinations, and let's say if I wanted to see some features that was going on, you can click where that destination is and click features. So Rome and Paris may have some good stuff. So let's see what they have here in Rome. So if they want to purchase the protection plan for this particular area, that's where this is going to be at. If they want a transfer from the airport to their hotel, especially if they want those private ones, right? They're like, well, this is a really romantic vacation and we plan on romancing it up. Then you can do that. They also offer some of the different cruises. They have, let's see what they have. Private transport from Rome to Naples. Oh, goodness. For 2 passengers, $778. And it even allows you to select a date that they want to go based off of the dates they're going to be in Rome, right? So that you don't accidentally book them for a time that they're not going to be there. They also have this walking tour. So you can actually add these things in for your customer while you're doing this. Once you get everything added that the customer wants, maybe visit another destination, add some more things in there, then that's when we're going to look at checkout. Before I go to checkout, I am going to save this itinerary. I am going to name it after my customer's last name. I may say multi-trip. And I think somebody's unmuted. Can hear your sounds. I'm sorry, hon. And then once you have, another thing that I like to do is the total cost. So $8,091. So when I go to save this itinerary, what did I say, $8,091. So that in case I like to send my customer more than one itinerary. Wayne, I'll show you in a second. So that way, if I'm shooting them more than one itinerary, I can also remember what the price points were at that point that I sent it to them. So then when I'm talking to them and I need to pull it up, I know which one I'm pulling up. So I'm not like kind of going into all 3 of them, right? So are you asking how I got to this page from the beginning or how I got to this page, Wayne? How I got to this page?
I was following along on my other screen, and so I missed it when you somewhere when you transferred, you were showing how to do, I guess, transfers or something.
Oh, it was right in features.
Oh,
Yep. So what I showed you was for each destination, when you do multiple destination, all of them have the ability for you to change the hotel and to add or remove features.
oh, there.
So for
Okay.
London, if I click on features here, it's going to show me all the possible things that I can add just for their London trip. So that way, if they need something, if they want to do a private transfer to and from their hotel, if they want to add the travel protection, anything that they want to do, they can do it right here.
Thank you.
Absolutely. When doing multiple destinations, sometimes I do not add the travel protection because you're going to be adding it for each leg. It's only going to cover that leg. I would rather use either Tenling, and there's another site that I use so that I can get the whole thing and wrapped up into one, their whole trip. So instead of using it from here. Another thing that you can think about adding, as I stated before, was if there's any tours or excursions that's available. If they wanted to buy some passes for, and specifically in London, I see this a lot, that they come up with the train passes for them to be able to go to different areas. And that way they don't have to worry about trying to purchase it there. They can just get it right from you, right in here. I saw the Waterloo just come up. So they can go from the station in central London. So there's a lot of different things that you can add. As you can see, London doesn't have as many of those tours. I knew Rome would have some because Rome is big for their tours and excursions in those areas. So once you have that done, you'll see what your new grand total is. And so it's going to be $4,045 per person for this 3-leg trip. Save that itinerary. And then if I'm going to email it to the customer, I just come right into email. I'm going to send it to my customer, and I'm also going to send it to myself. Another thing, again, what I would do is put their last name, multi-trip, or you can say Europe multi-trip, however you want to identify what this information is going to be so that you know it's something they're going to click on. Make sure you adjust this introduction, because look what it says. Thank you for taking the time to price an Apple Vacation Gateway with Archer Travel Group. Are they booking with Archer Travel Group? No, they are booking, in this case, with SLM Bookings. This email is to notify you of the items you should select it when working with. Do they know who 570740 is? Hopefully not. And they know too much about my business. And again, I don't want to say from Archer Group. I am an affiliate, but I am SLM Bookings. If there is anything else that you want your customer to know in your introduction, you can put it in here. Okay. Then at the bottom, you want to scroll all the way to the bottom where the closing is, because again, your agent ID is there. And if there was anything that you wanted them to know, you can also put it in your closing. This is the first of 3 plans I will be sending you. Please let me, not me. All right, now what you can do, you can just put your business name, yes. If you don't want to put your name, you don't have to put your name. You can just put your business name. You can edit that however you want to. If you have a statement that you like to say, you can say that statement. Now, some people don't like this in this itinerary. So sometimes I may just clip things. I might just use the snipping tool to clip some things from it and create a new email. So then that way I can also include some photos for that customer for the locations. Now, if you're going to do that, just make sure you rename each one of the photos to the place that it is so that they don't get confused. Because when they're doing a 3-lake, you're not just sending it from one hotel, right? So just make sure to say the London Marriott, Hotel Kingston 1, Hotel Kingston 2, 3, doing the same thing for their Paris leg or their Rome leg. So then that way they can identify that these photos are for this, these photos are for that. If you decide to create kind of like a personalized one. I know someone else was showing me a site that they use that also kind of does that. I just don't like paying for extra services. So I'm never afraid to send that person the name of the hotel, as I stated before, because if they can do better, they would have done better. Just saying. Just saying. So then once you have this the way that you want it, click on preview. The preview is going to show it to you. You see now it's defined. They're going to show you exactly how that customer is going to see this itinerary. And you also have the ability to, as I stated, if you put the things, if you put the emails here, I always add another recipient, put myself when you email. But before you send it, click on print. Change your destination to a PDF file. I always save the itinerary that I am sending to a customer in a file I have created for that client. So every one of my clients have their own file. Any photos I send them, any itineraries I send them, any receipts when they finally sign that credit card authorization form, everything gets saved in that file. So if I need to go back and access it, I know exactly where it's going to be. All right. So then you will print it to yourself, save it as a PDF, send that over to you. Once you have that saved, then email that customer. Somebody put their email in the chat. I'll email this to you so you can see exactly how this looks. There we go. All right. So I'm going to email you. Paste. I'm going to add another recipient and I'm going to email you. Happy. And as I stated, if I want to see it too, I'm going to email myself. All right. And London, multiple stops with SLM bookings. All right. And then I'm going to email it. And it's going to let me know that that email was successful. And I can just close this out. I already saved my itinerary. So if I decide I want to try this again, London, Paris, Rome, starting on, what did we started on September 3rd? Then I can go to new reservation and I can try a different company because I can then try to see who's going to give me the best price. Why send your customer just one thing, right? Well, FunJets doesn't go there. So let's try United Vacations. All right. And we want to do US. No, we want to do Europe, hotel, multi-stop only, multi-stop. Got my 2 adults departing from. Do anybody remember where we departed from last time? It doesn't matter. I can do Albany, New York. Houston. Oh, you people who pay attention. I do remember it was September 3rd. We went to London. And I boosted that up to 5 nights. And then for our second destination, we went to Paris. Oh, Paris. And I believe I kept that at 3 and I added a destination. And our added destination is Rome. Because we were all feeling some kind of way. All right. And I didn't do anything else. I left everything else the same way that it is. And we're going to search it. Worst case scenario, they come back and tell you, we don't know, we can't find anything for this. And then you just try a different vendor. Never send one itinerary. I have a formula for how I'm going to send my itinerary. So if my customer tells me that they don't want to spend more than 10 grand, I'm going to send one that's really close to that 10 grand, even if it's $100 over, $100 less. I'm going to send one that is slightly above it, and I'm going to try to send one that's slightly under it. The one that I want to send that is going to be kind of on that nose a little bit, I'm hoping I can get a excursion or something special involved in that, right? So that they really see it. So we already see that this is the one above it, because this one is already at 10,800 and our last trip was only 8 grand, right? Compared to, as I said, only 8 grand, like I'm spending 8 grand on a vacation right now. And so then I will go ahead, as I stated before, if they don't have any specifics that they need for me to change this, then I'm going to go ahead and just select whatever the best pricing is, whatever the lowest. Oh, Amy, you got some cruise? I didn't know I was doing multi-destination cruises. 3 in hotel departing from Greece. That sounds like we need to get together and do that separately. No, it's not that. It's not that. Let me see. Multi-destination cruise with three nights in Greece for 15 days, 5 nights after departing Rome, because that is going to be a whole different beast. I can see if one of the ones I have offer cruises, though. I'm not gonna lie, we'll see what we can get to that. And so again, we have that 10-hour layover here. So remember, guys, when you see long layovers, open up Viator, right? And see what we can do for that person. Because if you can do something for them while they're in Austria, and just make sure, let's look at our dates. That was September, but what dates was this for? The 12th, September 12th. Okay. Because I'm thinking, oh, it's going to be multiple days. No, it's just September 12th. And also look at how many hours something is going to be, because you want to make sure that they can get back at least within 2 hours of that trip. Mozart concert and dinner, or VIP dinner. So obviously we don't want to do that, because I don't think it was something that was late. Well, I mean, they get there at 9 in the morning. They don't leave until 7 p.m. Oh, they got a strudeling class. Oh my goodness. Private tour of the, I dare not even try to say that, castle. 6 to 8 hours. That's pushing it. I wouldn't want to do that. I was so for it until I saw that. The Sound of Music private tour. This isn't bad. It's an hour and 45 minutes. That way they can still do their own walking. They can have their own food, take some pictures, do some of their own things, but have something set that's not too many hours for them to do. Here's something else, but see, these dinner ones, I don't want to get involved in because they're leaving at 7. So, the dinner might be at 7. So you don't want to get too involved in something that's going to be possibly too late. So it looks like some of these concerts, here's something else that's 3 hours. It's something that's exciting that you can kind of add and get that extra commission in for that customer. And I'm just going to be selecting these flights, kind of keeping it moving. But when you're doing it, like I said, kind of pay attention, because you want to make sure that you're getting them something that they can utilize based off of their request. And then you check your hotels. If there's a hotel, like this one says this is a twin, but because some countries, twin beds are something that they all have. Even though that this is a Hilton, I would probably check this room, see if I can find something that might be a little bit more accommodating for that customer. Once you have everything that you like, remember, save that itinerary, go to your email, set up your email, and keep it moving with that customer. So then when you're sending them the 3 different quotes that you've created, now you can come back into your retrieved itineraries. And if they say, I really like this one, can we go into this a little bit more details? Can we add this? Can we do this? Can we remove this? Can we change the hotel? You know, to just come in, pick up that one that you're doing and keep it moving for that customer. So this is Vax. When with Viator, what you can do is you can send the link to that customer, Christy. They can either book it themselves. You can book it for the customer, but sometimes I would just send them the link because this is something they can book for themselves. And then you don't have to worry about doing a separate credit card authorization form because you took their credit card to book this. They also have that reserve now, pay later option for some customers. And they do have an up to 24 hours in advance cancellation. So, you know, those are good things. So I may not do too much because if that customer is looking for excursions and things like that, and I find a couple of them, if I send them this one, they're still going to be connected to me, right? Your agent, Letitia M. Then if they decide, well, you know what else do they have? They can just go back themselves and pick certain things, or they can search, you know what? Well, what about when we're in London? I know we asked her about this one location, but what else can we do while we're in London? So they can come here and be shopping. You just never know, especially since they got Harry Potter. Harry Potter! Sorry. Had a Harry Potter moment there. All right. So then that is what that Vax is. So now let's say you want to take this booking and you were like, you know what, this was such a good trip. I kind of want to also advertise it to other people. It took me so long to get this built. And I don't want to waste this opportunity because I can get this cloned. You can get it cloned by Vax Vacations if someone else wants to take this same trip. All you need to do is either have it saved in your itineraries, or let's say if the Jones family did book it, all you need is their itinerary number, and you can ask Vax Vacation to clone it. As long as the flights and things like that are still available, they can do that for you. The reason I said that, let's get this pulled out while we're waiting, because then you can go into Canva and make a generalized flyer for it, right? I'm going to be doing more training on Canva, but I figured I will show you guys this as well. So what you can do is I usually put in travel or travel agents or anything like that. I let them decide like, oh, look at all these beautiful flyers that I have access to. Hoo-hoo. Now, if you are not a paid member, anything that has a crown on it, it's pro. You would not be able to use that, right? But look at how many don't have that. So, you know, the sky is still the limit for you, right? So if you want to be able to advertise that, I might use something like, let's see, something that has like, here, see how this has 3 locations already. Did we just do this one? The only thing I think we just did this one, guys. That's hilarious. First things first, I'm going to look to see where am I putting my logo. Just being honest with you. Brand everything. People will take from you. You see my kitty? And I'm going to, let's see, the white looks good. So I'm going to brand everything. Got to do a little bit of adjustments here. All right. And you can even say multi-trip around the world. And then, you know, put your, we're just, even though Italy, Rome, you know, we're still going to just say Rome specific. And you can take this off. If there was a discount offered, you can keep the discount on. And then you're going to change it to what your package was about. I'm just going to put that there. Put your contact information instead of book now. You can say book now, whatever it is that you want to say. I would not say follow us. I would just let the contact us be here again. And I would either put my website if you have a personalized one, or your email address where they can connect with you. So, you know, you don't have to do such a very detailed one. You can just kind of leave it very very less detailed, unless, let's say, you do want to have some more information. So then you would just pick up a different flyer, because you can ultimately say flights included, some meals included, transfers included, things like that. It's showing me ones that I've already used. That's why I'm like, where are they? I make tons and tons of ones. So see how this one is a little bit bigger, has some room. Let's say you got rid of the general picture, or you scooched this picture up. You guys are like, well, show me. All right, I'm gonna show you. So we don't have to keep that picture that size. We can scooch him up so that we can make space for the information that matters to us. Get your pictures of Rome, Italy, and Paris. There we go. Still leaving enough room if you want to put your logo. Cut into his picture some more. And then let's travel. And again, you can say travel the world. And now you have a paragraph here where you can put additional information for that trip itself. You can also look over here. Once you select one kind of flyer, others will show up. They show up and show out. You can switch it and then just put some brief information about what the package includes. Have your 3 photos here, change your stock photo back here. See, my logo, I made sure, and you can do this too, doesn't have a background. So I can pretty much put my logos on any kind of picture because I deleted my background so that I can do so. And then once you get everything that you want included on your flyer, add another page, go back to design, select another flyer, add another page, select another flyer. So then that way, if you want to create multiple information about this same thing, now you have 3 different looks. You're just transferring what the information is over to each one of the flyers. I try to, when I save them, I don't want to save them as a group because it'll put it in a zip file and I want instant access to it. So I'm going to sit there and I'm just going to select each one at a time and save it. And then come back. And once I save that one, I'm going to save page 2. Then once I've saved page 2, I'm going to save page 3. For this, make sure it is set on PNG. You do not want to save this as a PDF unless you plan on printing it. Yes, so how you clone a trip in Vax, call the 800 number in Vax, and they will clone it for you. So again, I would get the information from this trip. So I know that 3 flights are included, staying at the Marriott, staying at the Hyatt. And I don't know the name of this hotel, but if you want to, I would even sometimes, if I know they're big hotel names, I'm going to put those hotel names in there, right? Because I want somebody to know that this is not just you're not going to be backpacking. You're staying at these really nice hotels while you're traveling. And you can even say travel insurance included if you decide to do the travel insurance. And if you decide to do extra excursions, just bump up what your price is going to be per person to add in those excursions, right? So this is how you do it in Vax. And you can even see if that customer can qualify for something monthly. You see that the deposit is due. It always says today, but they usually give you about 14 days. The problem with the 14 days is if the flights change, you cannot guarantee this price to this person until they put down a deposit. But it also shows them when their final payment is going to be due. And there is one other thing I know that I want to show you guys before I leave Vax. So let's look and see how much you're going to get commission. So for this one, $703.48. But if you know you have room, remember I said my customer was willing to spend $10,000, I might add an extra $200 to my commission. It's going to add it into that customer's price. And now my commission is set. So it looks like they only will let me go to $883.43. But that's okay. That was better than the 703, right? Whoop, whoop. And if you need to see that again, that was at the booking administration button. That's right under where it says email print itinerary. It's changing the price for me. So we'll see it in just a second. So now their price is $8,267. Booking administration, that's what you click on. Or let's say this is a close friend of yours. I think you can, well, see, it only gives the option for increase. So I don't think you can decrease it from there. You may be able to call Vax to have it decreased, but I've never heard of anybody who wanted to decrease their commission. So this is how you do it in Vax. And there is going to be another person who is doing a training just on Vax. That's why I decided, well, you know what? Maybe I can show you guys some other ones instead of just Vax. All right. So this one is called Pleasant Holidays. Pleasant Holidays can be found in the back of the, I'm sorry, in the travel cafe for you to register for. So they have it when you first come into Vax, you are going to see it look like, well, like that, right? You'll see it look like this. And then when you want to do multiple destinations, they have a button that is right here before you select your first departing airport. Go to multiple destinations and click it, and it's going to take you to a different window where they have first destination and second destination. And if you need to add more, they have it where you can add more. So let's say I still wanted to get something for that customer instead of using Vax Vacation for a different quote. I decided to see what Pleasant Holidays had for them. So it says, do you need a flight for your first? Yes. Or yes, of course I am. Do I need a flight for my second one? Yes. So make sure those certain widgets are already selected. I know that he was leaving from, we decided Houston, I think because that was the easiest thing that came up for me. And our departing date was that September date. And we're going to leave it at any time. And our first leg was London. And this one got a little bit more deep with that London call, didn't it? So I'm going to just say London City. Darn them. So we want to check out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the 8th. You can even say, I need a transfer right here. Now they're only offering private. So if that person doesn't want to pay a premium service, do not select I need a transfer. Let them make arrangements. Just tell them ahead of time that they will have to make their own arrangements, or they can talk to the concierge services at the hotel to be able to do that. Most hotels does have some kind of concierge services, especially when you're traveling international. So then you're going to go to, all right, so we are going to go to Rome. We're going to skip Paris this time. Well, I did say I was recreating, so let me do this correctly. All right. So my second destination is Paris. Check in. And for these, I was just doing the 3. So 1, 2, 3, leaving on the 12th. And this one was Rome. Rome, Leonardo da Vinci, Italy. Fancy. Check in on the 12th, and we're going to leave 1, 2, 3 on the 15th. And returning back to Houston, to 2 adults, lowest available for the airlines. I would say direct nonstop flights only, but it's not going to be likely because this is going to different countries. And they're coming from Houston, so they're in the middle. So when you're coming from someplace that's further in the country, they have to get to the edge of the country first and then fly out, right? So set that expectation with that customer that they're most likely going to have at least 1 transfer. And again, Pleasant Holidays is also thinking about life and its choices and decisions that it's made along its way, loves its lost. And we can see that this one right here is already more expensive than what we were looking at, right? So, but again, we let that customer make that decision because let's see where we're going. It already has the flight from Houston to Germany. I'm shocked. 9 hours nonstop. Wow. And then from Germany to London, 19 hours. From London to Italy, but it's going to Milan, and then from there to actual Paris. Maybe we should have did Rome first. And then from Paris back to Italy. So yeah, hindsight, I would probably flip these for that customer. And then going home. The DoubleTree Hotel. Hotel del Louvre. That sounds better, right? And the Westin Luxor. Oh yeah, so the Westin, good hotel. This is probably where you're spending most of your money. The only reason why I'm not impressed with this at this price point of $13,000 is just from the DoubleTree Hotel. DoubleTree hotels are amazing. I love them. They're great. But when somebody's spending $13,000, I don't think they want to be at the DoubleTree. So that's when I would think about, changing the hotel for this package or sending this as just kind of like your one that's inflated. Then they're most likely to do what? Book that $8,000 one with you because they've seen this package. But you can see, just like the other one, you can change it out. It's just a little bit friendlier to look at. So you can change the flights. It's right here. And you can change the hotels. It's right here. You can even change the rooms right here. So we don't have to open up how in Vax, we had to open up each one of those separately. You can open it up right from here. You can see photos and anything that else might be included in the amenities for the hotel itself. You can see they have hotel dining, international cuisine, and they talk about the nearby attractions as well. You can decide to keep this room right from here, or you can just return to package details. And it will return you just the same. So once you are deciding, okay, I want to hold this, I don't know if I want to sell this, but I want to think about it before I send this off to my customer. If you click on continue booking this package, it's going to take you to this page that says customize your trip, because there's other things that you can add into the trip, such as the transports, the private transports that we talked about, the insurance. I usually try to do the one where they would get the credit instead of the cash back, so I don't have to worry about them doing a total cancellation. And then they have those attractions right here that you can add. Continue booking this or create a quote. So now I'm going to go to create a quote. It is going to give all the details. And if you do not want to add in anything else for that customer's information just yet, you want to click on agree and continue. And while it's sipping its wine, so you have the option to send the itinerary to yourself or send it to the client. So what I'm going to do is I want to view it. I want to see again, what does this look like? And then you can come in here and still send it to your client. So when you send it to yourself, you see what your commission is. But when you send it to the client, it does not show the commission to that client. If you want to, again, save it, click on the print button so that you can send this to, and this goes to yourself. What you print for yourself, you do not want to send to that client because, let's see, your commission is here. And I know that might be hard for you guys to see, but yeah, the commission for this one is $995. So if you print this and send it to your client, they're going to see that commission. That's why they have two different links, one to send to yourself and one to send to your client. Does anybody have questions about Pleasant Holidays and multi destinations? If you want to get back into what you just sent your client, your activities are here. right on your front page. So as soon as you log in, you'll see build your trip and you'll see my bookings and any itineraries that you have on hold. So we also have Avanti. Avanti is strange and magical and difficult all in the same time. So Avanti is, I believe Avanti Destinations is in your portal. If not, hit me up on Facebook and I'll make sure that you get the link. Pleasant Holidays, I believe might be 24 to 48 hours. I don't believe it took me that long. I might have gotten it on the same day. T. Do I have a meeting with you coming up? That's funny. I have a meeting with a T. So anyway, when you set up, you have the option to kind of brand yourself too. So when you come into your portal, you know, like you are self-branded back here as well. They have their own training to show you how to use it because they have so many different ways to book. I can't even go over all of it with you now. It's crazy how many ways they have to book. You can actually look at destinations for different customers, check them out, see plans that they already kind of have set up. This is not for Carly. I'm not doing cruises. That was why when the cruise question was asked, I was like, I can see if this one might have one in it, but I wasn't going to specific cruises. Originally, I was only supposed to be doing Vax, but I saw somebody else doing Vax today. Sorry about that. So yeah, so when you when you're looking at certain things, they give you ideas, they give you videos to watch, they have fact information if a customer is asking for certain different things. So Avanti is definitely one that I recommend for those type of things. They show you if you book this and you put it together this way, 5 days, 4 nights, you can get these type of inclusions. So that when I tell you they really kind of put together something for you, for a customer, they really do. And they even have, look, island hopping involved. So if that person doesn't know what they kind of want to do, but they may want to stay in the same country to do it, this is a good one to do. But you don't just have to stay in that same country either. Let me show you why. If you do your own quote, they're going to ask you, do you need air? So we're going to say, yep, we are going to need air. US departure date, we're going to go all the way back to our September, right? And select room type. So by selecting what type of room you have, it sets the precedence to them on how many people are coming. Weird. Because what if I want a double room, but I want it 4 people? Then we're going to say our first destination is London. And I had said 5 nights. Then our second destination was Paris, Patty. And I was fine with 3. Our last was Rome. I was fine with 3. I'm fine with 4-star. I got a little bit of money in my pocket. Right? And then you don't have to do anything else unless you know you have children, and then you have to put the children's ages if you're taking actually 4 adults instead of 2, blah, 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 blah. Okay. So then you're going to click on create. Man, all of these sites, they have so many lovers that past lovers that they're thinking about. I'm gonna close these other pages, but I definitely suggest you explore this site because they have some really good destination with tours built into them, but it's just kind of hard to plan them yourself. So if you open it up, look at it, then you can come over here and plan exactly what they put together. Christine, I try to be funny. You gotta laugh because I mean, you know, we're still connecting here. It's not like they don't have this information, right? But this is, like I said, this is quickly becoming a site that when I have international travel, I definitely come to. It has been interesting. We had somebody who needed to go from one island to the second island, but the second island, they did not need accommodations. So what we did was we had to trick the system. We put in the amount of days they were going to be there so that they would put in the hotel, and then we deleted the hotel. So, all right, now They have planned this perfect trip for us. They were like, this is going to be perfect. You're going to love it. But I don't want my customer to pay $284 for that private transfer. I'm going to be like, hey, why don't you guys just get a cab or an Uber, right? So we're going to remove that. So they got 5 nights at the Best Western Morning Hotel. This looks amazing. Like, I don't know what's going on inside. The outside has already done it for me. And then they have a tour built in here, which is a 3-hour taxi ride. And I'm going to say for $610, no, thank you. Now they have in London another tour for $234. I might leave it. They have another walking tour. I'm going to remove it. My people are lazy. And for their 6th day, they were like, hey, the making of Harry Potter. So if you have somebody who's a fan, keep it. They might like that. They might be willing to go over budget for that, right? But if you ask them, oh, London, are you going to do anything Harry Potter wise? They say no, just remove it. Now, here is another private transfer from the airport. From the hotel back to the airport. We're going to remove it. Now, let me show you something about that, though. Okay. So the private transfer for this particular hotel in Paris is $349. It already shows you what your commission is going to be, $52. If you are trying to stay within budget for your client, these things are negotiable, in my opinion. Take it off. But if they have a blown out budget and they're about that private transfer life, then keep it, because it just gives you more money as well. But I would rather my customers spend their dollars on the tours, on the excursions, on maybe upgrading their hotel lifestyle, right? Than to be driven to and from the airport. So that's why I just automatically remove it. But you can see what your commissions are based off of where you're going. Like, this is another tour for $1,000. The Louvre. They may want to go. They may not. Look at that price. So I'm going to remove it. There's that private transfer again. I'm going to remove it. So private transfer, gone. Yeah, we probably made over $300 in commission on private transfers, but I'm going to keep this tour. I'm not going to keep this tour, and I'm going to take off that. Now, you save it from here. Look at where their price is at. We have not added the airfare. And we're just going to say, what did I name it before? Jones. Just something really quickly so I can get it in there. So you can book this and you can copy this, because you have the option to get those flights from someplace else with this service. All right. The reason I haven't added in flights yet is because they are an expensive company. You're going to see in just a minute. So now let's add in flights. What was that? Houston, Texas. Go. Yeah, Christine, it plans so well because they look at the destination you're going to, the days you're going to be there, and the best option for tours or excursions, and they just plug it in. This is called stack selling. I used to be a manager like years ago. I was like maybe 19 and went through a management program. And this is going to tell my age. They would be like, if a customer buys a keyboard, if you take nothing from me today, guys, listen to what I'm saying now. If a customer comes to the store and they want to buy a keyboard and you help them select the best keyboard that they want, before you go to that register, pick up the keyboard stand, pick up sheet music, pick up the how-to guide, and pick up batteries that fit that keyboard. And then you go to the counter with all of the things that you have now picked up and you put it down and you look that customer right in the eye and say, is that going to be all for you today? That's how they taught us how to sell, right? So then that customer is looking at you like, well, I didn't want any of this. And you can say, well, I figured you didn't want to just put your keyboard on a table. And I picked up the batteries because if you decide that you want to take it on in your room or put it on your lap, you don't have to worry about how long this cable is. Cable's not really that long. So you might want some backup batteries for when you want to do it unplugged. And all of these other things is, if you're just learning how to use the keyboard, this is a packet that's going to show you how to do it. And then one day you might want to make your own music. What's the first thing that's going to go? The sheet music. Everything else may stay. So you present your customer with the best plan, including everything, and you let them decide what stays and what goes. All right, that's my plan to you today. All right, so here is my airfare. Look at that airfare. I'm going to add it to my proposal. And let's see, this is from September 3rd through the 15th. It looks like I'm missing something. Does not look like all the flights are here, right? And this is the one thing that we had a problem with them. But then when I called them, they were able to add it. But just from Houston to London. Oh, no, because then yeah, they did not do London to Italy. They didn't do the Paris. They skipped Paris altogether. They just planned what they wanted to plan. But then I called them and they were able to add it in because there was a flight that wasn't in Delta at the time that would do the connection. So once I got and it sees what I have, we were able to add in a flight. So you have to save it. And you can save it as a new proposal. That's what I wanted to do and I didn't. That's why I had put a 1 at the end of it. But then you can do the pricing and it's going to show, all right, this is what everything you want. Did you want to add an agency fee? Well, right now my commission is at $874. So I don't think I need to add an agency fee. But if you wanted to, you do it right from here. You can always delete that agency fee later if you don't like it. And let's see. No, it's showing me the same things. I just wanted to make sure like I wasn't missing something. Okay, so there is Rome, Italy. That's the last leg though. It took me from the first leg to the last leg. So yeah, so we have to get that flight added in. And as I stated, a lot of the times, the ones who can add it in is going to be their back office. And then this instance, you can see that you actually did earn commission from the flight. There are some companies that do not give you commission on a flight. So on every leg, every decision that's made, you not only see how much it's costing that customer, you're seeing how much you're making as well for each different option. That's what makes me like them, because then if I can squeeze something else in for that customer, I can see where maybe I can save them something to give them something. It shows your total and it shows their total. You can share this. You can go to book this. But in this case, I would just leave it, right? Contact them and get my last flight added before I share anything with this customer. But that's pretty much how this platform works. And then when you go back to your home page, any of the itineraries that you have saved are going to show up here. So the cool thing is I have this Josh 50th bash. I actually did book this one, but just not with them. I actually found this one with Exoticca. Now, Exoticca is a quick way for you to do those multi-trips and not have to think about it. They do it for you. They already have it built. You cannot make changes. You can extend days, but you cannot change days. But for the pricing that you get, it's definitely worth it. Look at this, Jordan, Egypt, 16 days, 3,000 per person. That's where it starts at. It depends on where they live in at. What are the reasons you can change commission? So you can't change the commission, but let's say if you did a lot of planning for this customer and you went a lot of back and forth, or if you decide to become a agency that does charge an agency fee, that's why you can add those agency fees in there. So exotica.com is really great because this customer is going to be there 16 days, but this is going to be 14 nights. They're looking at how many days. They tell you right up front, hey, you're going to lose some time on traveling, right? They show you this is everywhere this customer is going. So these are like I like to call them tourcations. because these are like tours on some kind of speed or something. It shows who these are good for. The flights, accommodations, all transfers, all activities, and some meals are included. They're setting that bar for you right now. When you come here, I always like to click on the second day, and then it'll open up all the other days. It shows you on every day what tours are included and what's optional. So this is an optional afternoon, but see here, this one, and this one on day 3 are included. Okay. This one is included. This one, so every stop that they're making, they have 2 optional here. 2 included here, 1 optional, because that's a night excursion. Maybe you're afraid of the dark. And so they have so many different things included. If you want to see it at just kind of like a glance, instead of seeing all of these screenshots, you can come right down to the bottom. It says Charm includes 9 nights accommodations with the superior category hotels, 1 night at a tent camp, and 4 nights on board the Now cruise. So somebody was asking me about cruises and getting some kind of tour included. And that's why I was like, well, we might see something, but it's not something that, now you see why I was saying, because it's not something you can plan. It's something that's already planned. And then it shows included activities. So you can just click show more and see all the included activities for each trip. They have a rating based on how active that trip is. So if you have somebody who is loose and goose and ready to go, any of these activities they should be good for, right? But if they're a little bit more moderate, you might want to select something that might be a little less active, or they just don't participate in some of the more active ones. Because this says this is for day 5, but this is also for day 5, and this is moderate. So they may go on this tour, but maybe not so much that one, right? If they just want to go on this tour. And then they show the optionals. The optionals are things that you can add on if you choose to. And the premium care is included, so you don't have to worry about selling extra insurance. And it even talks about what they're going to need for that trip, see important notes, so that if they have to have certain documentation, certain shots, anything before traveling with them, it's one and done. They do it for you. Now I'm just trying to make my way back up to the top. So how you sell these trips, usually what I do is take these beautiful screenshots that they have already, include all of the information that they have here for the trip highlights and what's included. I may even take the person who crafted this. This is what's important. These people go to these countries and they craft these tours. They work with these vendors and they say, okay, we want these tours for 3 years, exactly the way this is. And so then they come back to Exoticca and they market them. So then sometime I might take this little quote, because this is something that he did. He did this. He's proud of this, right? And I might also put in there that you can upgrade your categories if they want a more luxury experience. So the luxury experience is going to be, let's see. This is not telling me what the difference is. Ah, there it is. Okay. Yeah, that hotel beefed up, didn't it? Mm-hmm. And Superior, I don't know why they're showing us the food. Still beautiful. Charm. When they only show me one picture of the room, that's telling me something, right? But for this trip, I'm already paying, oh, luxury. They got a pool table. They got a bowling alley. I'm down for that luxury. All right. And then when you want to see where can your customer leave from, they cannot just leave from any destination. All right. They can only leave from these selected ports, hotels, airports. And so you see the price changes depending on where they're leaving from. But let's say your customer is like, oh, well, you know what? I would rather get to the first destination from my hometown. Select land only. It's going to keep it at that $3,999. And then you have to check the dates to see what dates you can get, and then book their airfare from someplace else And you just know that their first destination is where you have to get them to in order to join the trip. So that's why they offer that. So if you cannot get to any of these airports where they already have the built-in pricing contracted with those airlines, then you just select land only. So that's another thing that I like about the options for this one. Same thing with Avanti. If I don't like what their airfare is going to do to my price, I would rather get my air someplace else, because you only need to get them to that location. And then on the 15th day, I'm sorry, on the 14th day, they'll be on Cairo. So you need to get them from Cairo back home on the 15th. That's it. That's it. Just beautiful, easy, breezy. What they used to say, beautiful color girl. And there are so many different places they have. So I just showed you one, but all of their trips are built like this. Now I have come across a couple of trips where they were just at the resort. It was just someone who wanted to go to a resort. So they do have some more that's simplistic. But 11 days in Greece, where you get to visit all of these different places and have everything included for $21.99. Who's not going on that today? I mean, I'm booking. So once you log into Exoticca, Miss T, I had to see who was asking me. Go to the travel advisors portal. I'm trying to see if they had something at the bottom too. Travel agents portal. Travel agents portal. And then when you go in there, you're going to register now. You're going to fill out this information here. Whose IATA number are we using? We're using Archer's. and here I believe we are Travel Leaders Network. And I don't remember what came up for the host agency, because I don't know if it was Archer that came up. Oh yeah, so then this is where it is, local agency, Travel Agent Group, California, Archer Travel. So yeah, so once you fill this out, you hit register, you get instant access, I think. I don't believe I had to wait for access. Now I know we've gone over the hour. I did show someone this earlier today, so I was inspired to show you guys this as well. Railbookers is for people, absolutely T. Railbookers are for people who want to do either overnight stays on a train or do a train traveling trip. And this just blows my mind every time. My favorite one, it's easier for me to go to Train Styles. If you go to either Famous Trains or Sleeper Trains, we were talking to someone who just was going to be married soon, and they wanted to do a sleeper train experience. This is the way to go. Look at them pricing first off. Okay. During the holidays, they had them down to 40% off. So, you know, they even have their booking season. So what I like about the rail is the details that come with it. So what's included in this particular trip is 1 night aboard the train. And then you have 3 nights in Venice at a nice hotel. I'm going to show you what those look like. 3 nights in Como. And then you also get some tours built into it. So let's go back up and look at the itinerary. Remember, I was telling you, sometimes you have to do that drop down. Another thing, when you are looking at the map, let's say the person is like, well, you know what? I don't want to start in London. I would rather start at Lake Como and go backwards. You can click reverse. I know. I don't know who thought about that. That was amazing. So for London, the customer gets to choose which one out of these hotels they want to stay at. The same thing for, so then they'll be there for a couple of days. And now when they go to their next location, they're going to choose again. So instead of somebody just telling you where you're going to stay, this is what you're going to do. You actually have some options here for you. And then they give you the details of what's going to happen when you're at those locations, different things that you can do during this trip. But let's look at the train. So these are the 2 trains that they're going to be taking along their trip. This is the luxury train. Wait for it. This is one of the rooms. I'm like, oh my God, I love it. I don't care about this woman in her daydreaming. I want to see the rooms, right? So this is a small sleeper. That's right. I just said this is a small sleeper suite. And the other one was a large, the king size sleeper. Oh yeah, honey. Wayne, it is definitely different from Amtrak. And then this train here is more of your speed train. This is the one that's going to be taking them throughout the cities. So this is more basic style. This is what we're more used to, right? But for that couple who wants that, exclusive sleeper train experience, that is the first leg of their trip. Is going to be this one. And then the beauty part about this is if they decide they want to extend some time at a specific hotel, because you'll be on for the second leg of your trip, you're going to be on more like a bullet train that runs every day. So then you can all absolutely extend hotel stays and then leave, a little bit later. And yes, it was still better than Amtrak. Even the ones that offer cruises during the stay, you can extend cruise times and then leave a little bit later. They make it a little bit easier for you to do quotes as well. So you can go by destinations when you are looking for certain things for your clients. For the United States, they only have Western tours, and you see the Alaska. So they only have things that are going to go around that area. So we don't have privy to too much. But that's okay. I don't mind traveling out of the country. So I would rather look at maybe the styles sometimes versus the destinations. Because you might come across something. Let's look at what Greece has to offer. That's not as nice as the one I just showed you. And then you're like, well, Letitia, they weren't all nice. And then you're blaming me. And then I'm crying. So Rome's in Athens for $17.49. We already know the train itself is not the trip, right? The train itself is just to get you to the destinations. Whereas the other one that I showed you, which was more for the sleeper trains, that is the one where you're going to have more of that romance, see more of that countryside. So even looking at that was this one I think I took. Let's look at the one for 10 days. And yes, your commission is already figured out into this price. And let's just go to details because I want to just see rail 322 day trip. Yeah. And let's look at that train. Oh, so this one, look at this. You're taking multiple trains around your leg. But that Orient Express, that's the guy I always look for. I look for my dude right here. Because then I know we're getting this train selection. So I did do one booking on this one. They're doing Greece. I know they're going to love it. They did extend. That's how I knew about the extension. And when you want to make it your own, that's how, if that customer is like, well, I like this, but can I do something else? They're just going to be train hopping as they go along to the destinations, but they get the same options, not to say the same options, but they get to still pick hotels that they want to stay at themselves as well from here, as well as if they book it, create it themselves. And last but not least, we want to know, how do we quote this customer? Well, it's very simple. If they're interested in the reverse, you just select the reverse. You put what city they're leaving from. Oh, it did not like Texas, huh? And when you're planning to go, and they tell you what they have for later, or if you're flexible with your dates, if the customer is like, as long as it's something past September, you can do it that way as well. You're going to hit continue. You're going to put in how many people are going. If there is anything special about this, we already know when we tell them that this is for a honeymoon, this is for this, is there for that, they will do something a little special sometimes for those customers. Maybe give them a bottle of wine, have flowers for them, things like that. You're going to put in the contact information for the customer or yourself. And if you are the travel advisor, I am a travel advisor, or I'm working with a travel advisor if you're going to put in your customers. And then you're going to just click submit quote. They got me a quote within 24 hours. They had 3 options for me. And I'm saying within 24 hours, I might have submitted it at 5 or 6 p.m. and they had my quote for me when I woke up the next morning. So not even 24 hours, not even 12 hours, right? So they're very fast in making sure. And the person called me, they followed up, they wanted to see if there was anything else that they can do for my customer. So they are very responsive in that take. And once my customer booked, I also got the notifications. So I always add your customers' dates to your calendar. You want to follow up with them 2 weeks, 1 week, 2 weeks and 1 week before they travel, and sometimes maybe even 2-3 days before. Not that you're pestering them, but you're giving them any updates. You're checking on their flights. You're doing this. Give that white glove service. Make that commission worth it, right? And they make it so easy. So that's what I love about it. And what I do for Railbookers is I come in, I might check out to see what they have, save 400 on a trip. I don't try to make anything too complicated. I'm going to grab some of this information. If I'm going to go to this trip details here, I might grab some of these photos, these beautiful, oh yeah, look at that one, right? Beautiful photos, and talk about the same things that they're talking about when I create my flyer. Oh, good. T says she got a couple of quotes in. This site totally made my life so much easier. Once again, where would you go? Where were you a week ago? Oh, that's what you're saying. I'm so sorry, T. I told you I was having this training. I told you the last time we talked that I was going to be talking about more destinations. So absolutely. And I try to make everything a little bit easier for myself. The other sites sometimes just make it too complicated. So if my customer isn't like set on, I have to go here, I have to go here, I have to go there. But it just so happened I had a meeting with somebody earlier and we found exactly every place that customer was going on a train. So absolutely. So did you guys have any questions about anything that you've seen here today? I would definitely love to answer your questions. You can even unmute yourself. How about that? What? You got total understanding and no one has a question?
It was a lot of information. It was great information. I really haven't booked a lot, so.
Absolutely, Christine.
Yeah. People may be kind of overwhelmed by the amount of information. That was very good.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. So
I know
that's
I
why
am.
I always make sure to
Yeah.
record these so that you can go to my YouTube page. You can watch what inspired you or what you need that lesson in, right? And then you just watch that part. The reason I did 3 or 4 different sites was because I saw next week someone's already doing Vax again. So I didn't want to, to just stay on Vax all night with somebody else who's going to do Vax.
No, thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Especially the train one. You don't think about train trips much, and yes, that's really good to know and get it out there.
When I saw it, that it's something that just resonated with me. And I'm telling you, every time I see that guy, I'm like, husband, and my husband is like, I know, like he knows that's going to be our trip. If anything, I think that guy inspires me to book Rail.
Yeah.
He looks so professional.
Until tonight, you showed me that I wasn't really interested in going on a train excursion, but now I am.
See, because like you said, Wayne, when we think about the train, we're thinking of Amtrak,
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to stay on an
Yeah.
Amtrak for days. Like I just want to get where I'm going and get off this thing. But to be able to travel in hybrid with hotel stays and be able to go across a country, see 4 or 5 different countryside destinations, that's the key there to me.
Oh,
Yeah.
just look up the sleeper car on the Amtrak on the East Coast.
Oh, honey, I'm from New Jersey. I know.
Oh, you know. Okay.
And my grandmother wants to go from Virginia back to New Jersey for a visit. And she, so just so you guys know, I was able to get her a round trip on Amtrak for $74. Y'all better use y'all resources.
Wow, nice.
Mm-hmm. Did we have any other questions about anything that you guys saw tonight? Or here's the thing, let it resonate with you.
Yeah.
Let it sit in your soul. Think about the questions you may have and just get back to me. I answer on Facebook. I have my phone number right there. You can send me a text. Well, now it went away, so you have to wait for it to come back around. But I'm definitely available to answer any questions that anybody may have. So at this time, I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording since no one has an immediate question.